Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to another video about ChatGPT. This time we're going to talk about how students can effectively use and integrate ChatGPT into their student life and how can they use it effectively in order to benefit from it. However, ChatGPT is free education, but almost everyone is either afraid of it or they don't know how to use it and they're still stuck in the beginner's mode. So today I'm going to discuss a few prompts that are going to be very useful for students. The first prompt I want to provide here is about using ChatGPT in order to help you improve your writing by getting feedback. So what's important here is that most of the students would use ChatGPT in order to rewrite their essay and then submit it as an assignment. But what's an even better way of doing it is to ask ChatGPT to provide you feedback about the way you have written and to tell you how to write better. Now, if you write this prompt and then you draw and then you insert a quotation mark, inside the quotation mark you can provide your writing, you can put a colon, and after colon should follow your text. ChatGPT will not only rewrite your text, but it will also give you suggestions on how to improve your writing. Let's look at an example. As you can see, ChatGPT has not only rewritten the text and improved grammatical and also spelling mistakes, but it has also given us suggestions about how to write future text more clearly and with less mistakes. So what ChatGPT does here and what you use it for is to learn how to write better. That's much more better than using ChatGPT just as a machine which can type for you. This will increase your ability to write better in the future and not depend on ChatGPT. The next prompt, which is very important for students and can tremendously help the student life, is to use ChatGPT as a private teacher, as a tutor, as a person who understands how to give you the most important lessons about the topic. So you write this prompt. I want to learn about, here is a topic, market mechanism. Identify and share the most important 20% of learnings from this topic that will help me understand 80% of it. Once you write this prompt, ChatGPT will give you 80% of what is important in a topic. So you are using ChatGPT as a private teacher to understand matters better. The third prompt I insist a lot on for students is again about learning a new skill and developing strengths in a new skill. So you tell ChatGPT, I want to learn, and then you insert the skill or title. I'm a complete beginner. Create a 30-day learning plan that will help a beginner like me learn and improve the skill. And then you press enter. So what you're doing here is using ChatGPT to give you a short course of 30 days that will train you in a skill that you have given it from the beginning to the advanced mode. You can change the parameters. For example, instead of 30 days, you can call it 60 days or 90 days. You can give it also the parameter of time. So you can say 30 days, 2 hours each day, or 1 hour each day, and anything like that. Now that you have a 30-day plan, you tell ChatGPT to start from day 1 and give you a full lesson. So you tell ChatGPT, act as a teacher of economics, assume it's my first day of learning how money works, and start from the first lecture. Then ChatGPT will provide you a step-by-step guide of learning how money works, and the topics will be discussed by ChatGPT in such a way that are understandable to you. If you cannot understand a part of it, you can re-ask in a follow-up question ChatGPT to make it better for you. The fourth prompt we are going to talk about is not only useful for students, but also anyone else who wants to learn the most important lessons in a book. As you know, the new generation is accustomed to getting information very fast. They cannot tolerate reading an entire book of 100 or 200 pages in order to get, for example, 20 or 30 bullet points of lessons from that. That's why there is ChatGPT. So you write this prompt and then you insert the name of the book so that ChatGPT can give you the most important lessons learned from it. Summarize the book, and then you insert the title of the book, and if possible you can also say by and then the name of the author, and give me a list of the most important learnings and insights. Press enter, and there comes the magic. It is worth mentioning that you can change any part of these prompts so that you can make them personalized to your standards, to your needs, and to your understanding. For example, the prompt that we just used, you can tell ChatGPT to give you a list of the most important learnings in bullet points. You can tell them to explain the most important insights from the book, or you can play with the prompts as you desire. The fifth prompt that we are going to talk about is getting ChatGPT to talk to you about your opinions, about what you believe, and about your arguments, acting as one of the great minds of history, or to criticize your train of thought by acting as one of the philosophers or one of the great leaders, or acting as one of the great minds of the history. So let's write this. So you write down, assume you're Nelson Mandela, read my arguments below, and give me feedback as if you were Nelson Mandela. And then you write down your argument. Peace can only come if you have a bigger stick than the other guy. I use this text from one of the movies I've seen, and let's see what ChatGPT says about that. So as you can see, it is completely acting as Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was a person who was completely against the use of any kind of force and violence in order to bring peace. And that's why he says peace cannot be achieved through the use of force or a bigger stick than your other person. Violence only gets more violence. And then you can read the rest of it by pausing the video so that you can see how good ChatGPT can act as one of the great minds, criticize you, provide you feedback, or even to counter argue with you. And to make your argument stronger, you can use ChatGPT. This is much more important for students who are specifically interested in debates, arguments, presentations, and many other areas of their student life. The sixth prompt we are going to talk about is using ChatGPT in order to enhance your problem-solving skills. That means you ask ChatGPT in order to act as a problem solver, and then you give it a problem and ask ChatGPT to solve the problem for you. So we tell ChatGPT to act as a problem solver and then give us a step-by-step guide to solving this problem using electric cars as a measure to reduce carbon emissions in the world. Number 7, the next and yet important way we can use ChatGPT as a student is to ask ChatGPT to summarize a specific text and make it more understandable by breaking it down to the most important details explained. So you write down, summarize the text below into 500 or less words, create sections for each important point with a brief summary of that point. So if you have a text that is hard to understand, you paste it after this prompt and you will automatically get a breakdown of that text, a brief explanation, a much more simple explanation of that text, and it will be easier to understand it. As you can see, ChatGPT has broken down our text into 4 sections. Every section explained in brief, and it will make learning this text much more easier. As you know better, the learning style of every student is different. While some of us learn through visual aids, others learn by listening, and there are some of us who learn better from stories. That's why ChatGPT can come handy in converting your lesson plan into stories for you so that you can learn from those stories. In order to do that, you will have to write the following prompt. So you ask ChatGPT to change a topic into stories and metaphors so that it could be more engaging and so that you can learn easily from them. You tell ChatGPT, I'm currently learning about income tax in London. Convert the key lessons from this topic into engaging stories and metaphors to aid my memorization. And then ChatGPT will write you stories so that you can learn it easily. I found the most important and yet funny, number 3. Income tax is like a restaurant bill. When you go out to eat, you pay for the food and services you receive. Similarly, when you earn an income, you pay a certain amount to the government for the services and benefits you receive as a citizen of London, such as healthcare, education, and public transportation. This way, you can change any topic to creative, engaging stories so that you can learn easily. Number 9, we are going to use ChatGPT in order to help you write an essay or a topic that you're writing a blog post or an essay about funny topic or your topic, in our case fitness and savings, and then you ask for outline and also you ask for options for catchy titles. As always, the last point, the 10th prompt, is the most important for students. In this section, we want students to strengthen their learning by testing themselves against the questions that you prompt ChatGPT to ask you. And here, students have an opportunity to let ChatGPT ask them questions in order to find out how much they have learned a specific topic. And this is the most fun one because as students, we would sit down with our classmates before an exam and we would ask questions one another in order to find out how much every one of us had learned. Now you have this opportunity to do that with a machine. So you write down the following prompt. So what you're practically asking your chatbot to act as one of your classmates and to ask you questions, and when you provide an answer, ChatGPT will identify the gaps in your knowledge and then it will provide you back with feedback so that you can fill those gaps and shine better in an interview or maybe when you apply for a test. Now that ChatGPT has given you a few questions, you provide answer to those questions and then see what answer or feedback do you get back from ChatGPT. So the first question is, what is the difference between money and currency? You provide an answer and then ChatGPT tells you how much of your answer is correct, how can you make it better, and how can you improve it. These are the 10 prompts that I've collected from various sources and I found them very useful for students. I hope this video can help students around the world to use ChatGPT better as a student life, into their student life, and to integrate ChatGPT into their student life rather than rejecting it. However, some of the scholars and academicians would be against the use of ChatGPT in the learning environment, but I think if properly used, ChatGPT could be a revolution in learning for our students, and it can bring our students one step ahead of their previous generation. I'm specifically talking about Gen Z, who are the people who have a very short span of attention because they want to get instant information, and it is very lucky for them that ChatGPT is there because they can get specific answers in a very short period of time. They lack the large span of attention that was required by reading a complete book in order to get 20% of it. So share this video with the rest of your classmates, colleagues, and the people that you love so that they can also suggest it to students and they can use these prompts in their daily lives. Thank you very much. Have a great time.